నమస్కారం అండి. ప్రవాసాంధ్రుల గుండె చప్పుడైన తెలుగు ఎన్ఆర్ఐ రేడియోకి స్వాగతం. నేను మీ ఆర్‌జే సంధ్య. ఇది యూఎస్ నుంచి లైవ్ షో చేస్తున్నానండి. నా ప్రోగ్రామ్ పేరు 'దృష్టి మారితే సృష్టి మారుతుంది. వాట్స్ యువర్ టేక్' అనేది. దానికి వివరణ ఏంటంటే, ప్రతి ఒక్క విషయాన్ని ఎవరైనా కానీ ఒక పాయింట్‌ని ఇన్ఫినిటీ డైరెక్షన్‌లో ఆలోచించొచ్చు. ఆ ఆలోచనకు ఆధారంగా వాళ్ళ పెంపకం ఉండొచ్చు, వాళ్ళు చదువుకున్న చదువు ఉండొచ్చు, వాళ్ళు పెరిగిన ఉండొచ్చు. ఇంకా ఆలోచిస్తే వాళ్ళ పూర్వజన్మ స్మృతులే ఉండొచ్చు. సో, ఎవరు కరెక్ట్, ఎవరు రాంగ్ అన్నది కాదు. ఎవరి లైఫ్‌కి సూట్ అయ్యే మార్గం వాళ్ళు ఎంచుకుంటారు. సో, మనం ఆలోచించే విధానాన్ని బట్టి మన సృష్టి ఉంటుంది. అందుకే దృష్టి మారుతుంది. వాట్స్ యువర్ టేక్ అనేది. అలాగే ఈరోజు మనతో ఉన్నారు గెస్ట్ జ్యోతి శ్రీ శ్రీరహతి గారు. వారు షీ ఈస్ ఎ లైసెన్స్డ్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ కన్సల్టెంట్. యూఎస్‌లో లైసెన్స్ తీసుకున్నారు తను. ఫైనాన్షియల్ కన్సల్టెన్సీ చేస్తారు. సో, మనకు డబ్బు ఎంత ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనేది అందరికీ తెలుసు. పుట్టిన పిల్లల దగ్గరికి నుంచి ఇప్పుడు కూడా అందరికీ బ్రౌనీ పాయింట్స్ నుంచి మొదలయ్యి పెద్దగా అయ్యేసరికి ఎంత సంపాదించాలి, ఎక్కడ ఎక్కడి నుంచి సోర్సెస్ సంపాదించొచ్చు, చదువుకోవడం కూడా చదువుకొని కూడా డబ్బు సంపాదన కోసమే అన్నట్టు చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి మనం డబ్బు కోసమే పరిగెడుతూ ఉంటాం. కానీ ఆ డబ్బు ఎట్లా మేనేజ్ చెయ్యాలి? ఆ డబ్బు why are we running behind the money or the money should be working for us to make more money? మనం డబ్బు వెనకాల పరిగెత్తాలా, లేకపోతే సంపాదించిన డబ్బు సుఖపడడానికి దాన్ని మల్టిప్లై చేసి దాన్ని ఎట్లా డబ్బు ఒక 100 దాని ఫుల్ వాల్యూ మనకు వస్తుందా, ఎట్లా దాన్ని ఫుల్ పొటెన్షియల్ చేయొచ్చు, లేకపోతే ఫ్యూచర్ ఎట్లా మనము మన డబ్బు మనకు హెల్ప్ అయ్యేటట్టు ప్రతిరోజు డబ్బు వెనకాల ఎంత పరిగెత్తినా కానీ ఆ సంపాదించిన డబ్బు ఎప్పటికప్పుడు ఖర్చు అయిపోతుంటుంటే మళ్ళీ రేపు ఎప్పుడురా దేవుడా, రేపు ఎట్లా అన్న ఇన్సెక్యూరిటీ పరుగు 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 వెనకాల పరుగు తీస్తూనే ఉంటాం. అట్లా డబ్బు గురించి ఇన్సెక్యూర్ ఫీల్ కాకుండా డబ్బు మనకు ఎట్లా సెక్యూరిటీ ఇయ్యొచ్చు, ఆ డబ్బు అనేది మనం ఎట్లా మేనేజ్ చేయాలనేసి మనతో ఉన్నారు గెస్ట్ జ్యోతి శ్రీరహతి గారు. వారు బేసిక్లీ తన మదర్ టంగ్ వచ్చి కన్నడ అండి, బెంగళూరు నుంచి. కానీ పెరిగిందంతా మహారాష్ట్ర కాబట్టి తనకు మరాఠీ వచ్చు, కన్నడ వచ్చు, ఇంగ్లీష్ అండ్ హిందీ కూడా వచ్చు. సో ఈరోజు కాన్వర్జేషన్ జ్యోతి గారితో నేను ఇంగ్లీష్లో చేస్తాను. వీలైనంత మట్టుకు ఇంగ్లీష్లోనే చేస్తాను. ఏదైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ శ్రోతలు ఉంటే కాల్ చేయొచ్చండి మన తెలుగు ఎన్ఆర్ఐ రేడియోకి. సో మన నంబర్లో ఇండియా నుంచి కాల్ చేయాలనుకున్న వాళ్ళు మాత్రం 91 అని జత చేసి 970-522-2005. యూఎస్ఏ నుంచి కాల్ చేయాలన్న వాళ్ళైతే 919-701-2005. యూకే నుంచి కాల్ చేయాలన్న వాళ్ళైతే 44 అని జత చేసేసి 1158888205. Hi Jyoti, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you, Sandhya, and I thank you for the introduction, and thank you so much.
Hope you understood something. I was talking a lot.
Yes, I could understand very well. I fully understand the Telugu, but I'm not able to fluent in Telugu speaking. That's the reason. Yeah. So hello everyone. My name is Jyoti Shirahatti. I am based in Chicago, Illinois area, and thank you so much, Sandhya, for giving me opportunity to educate, bring the awareness to the personal finance. This is something, personal finance. I got involved 4 years back. All this time I was like working full time in IT, not aware of managing the money. When you're working, right, all we knew is never think about, how my retirement plan looks like. Where should I put money? We thought we're not going to see the retirement, right? And also understanding, where I should put money. How do I make my money protect, grow money, and not understanding many things, right? So it opened me one day, because my kids were in a high school that time. I was like going through the college planning process, when since we are the first generation, seeing the kids going to the colleges first time. I was like, because I never studied a college here back in India. I studied, came back here, right? So not
Mm,
understanding how the college planning works. So it took me time to understand, when I involved in learning. It took some time to get more. I know, more I learn, I felt like that, this is something I can plan better. I was able to, do the more, educated on that area, and able to save lots of money for my kids' education,
mhm.
understanding. And my daughter able to get like free tuition, which I didn't know that. If I did not put time and research myself, know about myself, I would have, spending a lot of money, right? So that time it start me thinking, okay, how about other plans, right? Just I understood the college planning process. How does it work? How do I save money? How do I, which scholarships and grants, how I can get it, right? So then,
Yeah,
I started talking to people, just telling them, this is something I didn't know. I thought you guys should know. People don't do the FAFSA when kids are in a high school. It's very important to do the financial aid application when the kids are in a high school in senior year. Lots of families, they think, okay, we don't get any money, any aid, we don't get it, I don't want to do it. But
Jyoti, so I
they,
would like to stop and ask you a question.
no,
So Indians are very good at, hard work and hard labor, studying
yes,
hard. Their motto of studying hard is to end up in a good job and get good money. We are able to earn money, and right from saving money in, from the kitchen cans or whatever, where our age-old grandmothers used to save money. So we, by nature, we are very much, our
yes,
generation at least, from our generation, do a lot of savings. But what we do not know, like Dad used to say, that make money work for you, not you working
yes,
for the money. Whatever the money that you
exactly,
want, that money should be working for you, which means
yes,
that you should earn the money and not be insecure of tomorrow again. The
exactly,
money should make you
exactly,
feel secure. So that concept
yes,
I could understand, implement. Like, how do I
yes,
implement it to make the money work for me? And so the first challenge when you come to US is, first challenge that comes to us is college funding and
yes,
house loans, all that things.
exactly,
So when I
ex-
checked up on this FAFSA, the scholarship one, it is only for below, which all most of the Indians don't qualify, because we come here with higher life ambitions, not to live a ambition below the cutoff mark of the income range, right? So
yes,
everybody is making much more than what the FAFSA gives. Yeah. So can you elaborate
yes.
on that college funding thing?
Yes. See, when we do, that is the most misconception we have, that, we make enough money and we have a good $1 million house, when we don't do anything, when we do FAFSA, we don't get it. That's a misconception of not doing a FAFSA. But there are, pros and cons of it, right? Let's say you need to know where is your asset. See, primary residence, the retirement on income, the income we make, it does not impact on towards getting the grants, right? Most things, impacts is like there is a reportable assets and non-reportable assets. We need to understand what is a non-reportable assets. You need to put the money into the non-reportable asset, right? Where are the reportable assets mean, like if you have a money in a kids 529, if you have a money in savings account, brokerage account, real estate investment, you have a second home, that's the extra money you have. When you report, then you may not be eligible for it. But there is a non-reportable assets where 401k, maximizing 401k, and then also life insurance people don't know, and then Roth IRA, right? So those are the non-reportable assets, right? So if you put money more into non-reportable And then even sometimes, we put money into kids account, right? That is also reportable asset. That's a big impact on for getting a FAFSA. That's why I always tell families, don't put anything on their name. Everything you should be in your name, your retirement plan, your protection, right? So it depends on where is your money, right? Based on that, you will be eligible for the financial aid. Also, there is nothing wrong in doing a financial aid, even though you think you're not going to get it. But always doing the FAFSA, always recommended to do October 1st as soon as it opens, because there is a pool of money have government will have. They may run out of that money. People delay it, and people, always they let the kids do it. Okay, my kids, they are doing the FAFSA, but they don't know our financial situation. I always encourage parents to spend time and just do it. Will not take much time because there is so much built-in tool available. You could do it, even though let's say you do it some, even though if you did not get anything, right? Say if your reportable assets is a big chunk of money, even though if you don't get it, but there are some colleges understand that, because you are listing the list of colleges in the FAFSA application, which are the place kids are applying. If you list the colleges, they know that you did not get any aid from it, but they will have an additional pool of money to give it to the kid. If they will have a specific criteria, right? So we don't know what's that criteria based on the colleges. It does not matter, right? I tell families, there is no harm in doing it. Just get it done. It's okay if you don't get it. If you get it, at least you at least you tried it, right? So that's the advantage of having a FAFSA. And also when you're doing FAFSA, there is a work study. You could do it. The kids are eligible to do the in campus jobs. If you don't do the FAFSA, if you don't check that mark, then they will not know whether the kids is looking for an additional job in the campus, right? Then they don't know where to, they will look for the people who did it, and there is a work study, they checked on it, then they know that they could offer in campus some jobs. It's not that for money. We don't want to work for the kids for the money, but we want them to get some experience and a value of money, right? So there's a add on, you could see. And in a FAFSA is not just 1 year, right? You need to do when kids are in a high school every year, right? So I highly recommend. I just do the FAFSA session, separately. I before October 1st, I did already in August. I'm going to do in September also. Just filling up the FAFSA, how to fill up the FAFSA, right way to do it, right? So it depends on, and you need to understand, depends on where is your asset is there right now, reportable and non-reportable assets. So understand more into, put more money into the non-reportable than the reportable asset. So that's what it opened up my what they look for it, right? More there is a, once you do the FAFSA, there is a expected family contribution, EFC number generates. So you could also, there is a there is a no cost rate, you can see how much EFC number comes right now. Even though you open account, you can see lower is a better. So more lower, that means you're more eligible to get the college grants, right? So see, there is nothing wrong. Just get it done. Even every year you need to do it anyway. When kids are first year, maybe you may not get it. Maybe next year you may get it, right? And that's what we recommend. Do the FAFSA. It's okay to try it, and if you get it, it's good. If not, that's okay. At least you tried it. And again, trying to
So,
figure out
Jyoti,
the
I
money.
want to ask another question here. And another point of view, also, a lot of Indians who are still on a non-permanent visa, like, all
Yes,
those H1 visa
yes,
guys and everything, they don't go for this FAFSA or any
yes,
kind of financial aid from the government, thinking that
yes,
thinking, so the major reason that they think here is thinking, if my green card is in processing, and if the government US runs a
yes. Hello.
do it, probably if they
Mm-hmm.
are taking financial these, if FAFSA or any kind of financial kind of
Yes.
support, they might
For
not
yeah,
consider them for green card. That's the fear, because US government definitely doesn't want, they are always looking for highly skilled persons, and so they think that
yes.
this could slow down or push their GCs behind. Is that true?
No, see, there are, you may not, if the kids doesn't have a social security number, they may not able, eligible for the federal financial aid, but there are some state aids they can qualify for it. So you could apply for a state aids. Every state will have some grants, Pell grant, what we call it. State grants will be there.
Mm-hmm.
They might be, well, even though if they don't have a social security number, you could do with putting 000s. Then you could file it there. Depending on which state you are in, they may be eligible for a state grants. There is alternative applications you could do it to get the state grants. And also according to the loan, right? There are many ways, many types. When we do this FAFSA, when you do this alternative right of applications, see that's where we all the bank, right, who are banks, they know that you
Mm-hmm.
are looking for a kids is looking for a loan, right? After you
Mm-hmm.
do the FAFSA, there is a data is available. That data, based on that data, you will get a multiple options in the mail. Okay, we are going to give you this lower interest of this company there, so you have an option to go through those loans. If you don't put your data out there, they don't know where to contact, right? That's another
Mm-hmm.
advantage of finding the best loans. By putting your data, that then those companies know that you are looking for a student loans, and they may offer you. And also, I always tell parents, don't worry too much about kids education, because we came from India, we made our lives, without having any, income here, right? Came for $200, $500, we made our life, they will make their life. But always, save for yourself first. Don't worry about the kids education, they will get the loan if they need it. They will, make their life. But if you don't plan to save for yourself, your retirement, you will not get the loan when you need for your retirement. So protect yourself, right? Protection is important than planning for a kid's education. We go in a hierarchy, right? I want to tell you one very example. 2 years back, I met a couple. They're H1B holders. They're very young, 30s. Every kid, every parent, when kids born, they think, okay, they need to start the kids' college education, because everybody hear that, okay, USA college is so expensive. We know that high school till high school, we don't worry about the fees, but college is expensive, expensive, right? They always think about, okay, first thing is they comes into mind is I want to save for a kids' education. When
Yes,
I met them,
that
I
is.
said them, "Oh, that is really, I know every parent has, they contact me just for that." I said, okay. Then I sat down with them. I explained to them, okay, I understand you wanted to save for a college, but you know that you don't know whether your kids is going to stay here or go to India. You don't know where you will be, in few years from the now. If you're putting the money into 529, may understand the pros and cons of 529. If you don't live here, you cannot use that money when you go to India. You cannot use anywhere. You have to use only for US colleges. If you start saving for a 529,
Mm-hmm.
also putting 529 money, it is counts as a reportable assets, right? And again, 529 money based on the market, you may lose money, you may gain money. I told him, same money, you put it in you protection yourself. There is a insurance products, which I know, index universal life. You can put the money there, and it protects that person. As a death benefit will be there, and if anything happened to the person, long term care, if he needs money, he can take from that product. And also that money grows with the investment also in the life insurance. People don't want to talk about life insurance, but I told them this product, it's kind of a life insurance, but it has an investment, it has a protection, it has a, death benefit. So he understood, he took the policy for a $500,000. So then, and then after down the line, last November, he was in a best health rating when he qualified for it. And then he qualified, I issued the policy, company issued the policy, and he was paying like $400 per month towards that, and the money is growing there. Last November, he got into the stage 4 cancer, right? Last month, I got a
Okay.
call from somebody who referred me, that couple. They got a call saying that he's in ICU, he's very critical condition. I was literally shocked. I couldn't believe it. The guy we met, he's so young, right? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
then we want to process this claim, because the product he took, even he could get that money when he needs that money when he's in a critically ill. So I was processing that because he could get the 90% of $500,000 during that time. But then next time he called me, he said doctor said he's not going to make it, his chances was very low. He went into the coma. But then I stopped that claim, because I know he's not going to make it. Let's wait for that to happen, then process as a death benefit. That way they get more full 100% plus the premium he paid, right? So I was able to help them and give them the what he I again now I'm not I know that it's not ideal to think about anybody's like that, but things will happen,
No,
right?
but
We
these
don't know.
things have been happening so many in the California coast, and so many coasts. We sometimes suddenly see young people in car accidents, young people having a stroke, and people going and asking for GoFundMe kind of things.
Yes,
Instead, I think we have to start changing. That's the intention of this
exactly.
program. Drishti Marate, Srishti Maratne. You should start thinking on a different line. Be practical and just start wake up call
Yes,
kind of thing instead
yes.
of it's
So
it's
yeah,
literally like online begging, right? Go help, go fund me.
exactly, exactly. See, then I processed their claim. They got the money what he paid, 500K plus the $6,000 back. I was able to process that claim. I met his wife. I gave him. Then I gave them the plan how to put that money for the kids' education. Now the kids are still 3 years, 7 year old. They have a long run to grow that money. I gave
Yeah,
them the different
so
options.
sad.
So this is what I know. It's very very sad, but at least I could have able to help them, right? So always, even
Hmm.
people think they could protect themselves less than $50. They could just take the term for, as you said, we need to stop this. GoFundMe. We need to bring them the awareness. Don't think about just college planning. Think about your protection. We are not going to say that what will happen tomorrow to us. We will not. We cannot say that we will be live healthy, we'll die like healthy, and we are going to live longer. We
Yes.
don't know. It's not for control, right? So protect,
Hmm.
protect. If you are a breadwinner, protect for your own protection. That's what I tell. If you love your family, just take the protection till your kids becoming independent. That's awareness we need to
Hmm.
bring, and we educate what type of life insurance they can afford, whatever the amount, right? At least start somewhere. And many times when I talk about life insurance, people say that I already covered through work. That is very, very, through the work, it's not a counted as your own protection. In between jobs, if something happened to the person, another incident happened to me, that person is in between. He didn't take any life insurance. He was in
Hmm.
between job in he got into cancer, and then next time, see, when he want to apply for any life insurance, he will not qualify. Nobody will give him if we get into any of health situation, right? So even if your work in between job, you're not going to get protection. If something happened to the person in between job, where is the protection to the family? And also when they retired, they're going to think of buying protection for their family. Do you think we'll afford? We will not able to afford the because of the age. We will not able to afford. We don't know our health situation that time, right? So that's why
So what
when
you're
always
saying
I say
is,
that
if you
protect.
are in critically terminally ill kind of situations, these policies don't accept you. You have to
No, no,
do
they.
this only when you're healthy.
Yes, yes, exactly. Even last month I got a declined offer. One of the guy, he did not know his A1C is 7.0. When they did the blood work, they do the blood work to evaluate the history, right? When they did the blood work, they found out that he's having a high A1C. Then they did declined it. They said till he gets better. He was just so angry, Then I told him, at least go to a doctor and check yourself and start taking medications. It's the risk for the family, right? So he got
Hmm.
declined, right? And even own sister-in-law, I applied for her. Her she got into anemic. Her iron level is low. They declined completely. So we don't know what's the criteria of when we apply it. Always, you just start protect yourself when you're healthy, when you're young, so that you could afford the premium. at least take care of your protection till the kids becoming independent. When they're independent, then our responsibility of not providing death benefit, it's okay, but then at least start something, right? We have a protection built into it. Don't rely on the job protection, right? Even though people buy through jobs paying extra, but that extra you could buy from outside, and it will be never increase the premium. It stays the work one, it goes every year, they increase the premium, right? So you could have additional riders on the same price what you supplemental you buy from the work, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so also understand what type of insurance you are buying, right? I met
Mm-hmm.
another guy. He 3 years back, and I reviewed his their policy. They just Google it and they bought the cheapest one. He said, I didn't know which one to buy. I just Googled. I saw this is the cheapest. I bought it. Then I reviewed his policy. It tells that it's he if he passes away only in accident, he's gonna get the death benefit. His family is gonna get the death benefit. It clearly written that it's accident only. That's why, of course, it's
Yeah.
cheaper, right? Because if you don't die in an other way, they're not going to give. Only if you die in an accident, that too after the accident, within the 3 days, if that person passes, then only death benefit is going to issue. Otherwise, they're not going to issue. He was paying for so much premium for that $1 million. He thought, I have $1 million protection to the family. When I reviewed, I told him, he completely, oh my God, it was shocking to him understanding. At least we could be able to review and tell him, right? He completely cancelled and then he took the other one, right? So
Yeah.
better,
So it is so
educate.
much useful to have a financial consultant instead of going self-help options. We see a lot of
Exactly.
ads on the TV also say this insurance, that insurance. So it's always better to go through a financial consultant. So what is the best way to reach out to you, Jyoti?
We know they could set up one-on-one through Zoom. I would like usually always both husband and wife to get involved in this process, because I want to educate completely for both of them, right? Understanding
Yeah.
it. I'm happy to educate them as much as possible through one-on-one. And also we do run a
Exactly,
workshop.
that's what I wanted you to come on the show, Jyoti. So you and I both are ladies, right? I am half-baked knowledge on financial part because like me, there might be so many ladies, Indian ladies, who even though educated, even though earning, they still give up on finance and finance management on their husbands, thinking that he's there, he'll manage it, and we don't have
Exactly.
any clue. It's not that we don't trust them. It's like
Yes.
you should also be aware and you should also be knowing. Instead of one fine day you're put on the spotlight and don't know what assets you have, what money you have, how to manage. Instead, if you partner with your husband and have these kind of financial meetings and consultants and know, at least shadowing your husband, you're not totally blindfolded, right? So it is like most of the Indians, ladies, I want you to call me on this show if you have any questions about finance, how it can be done, at least for your understanding and awareness, even though you're earning and your husband is managing both your salary and their salary. So please give us a call on our numbers that I'm going to announce right now. If you're calling from India, call on 970-522-2005 and USA 919-701-2005 and UK 441158882005. And anyways, we are talking this financial facility of college FASA stipends and insurance that is relevant to US based people. But hearing that there are opportunities like this that you can, you know, implement in your life also, this is something that is really useful in our lives and it's like a wake up call. Please do listen and follow up with Jyoti later on. As she said, there'll be a one on one both with the husband and wife on the Zoom call. And her best reachable number is 630-613-9278 or 630-649-8190. You can message or call up on those numbers. Yeah, go ahead, Jyoti. We're
Yes.
talking about
Thank
life
you.
insurance.
Yes. Yeah. So again, all many ladies says that okay, finance is so boring to learn. I don't know. I don't want to learn about it. This is not the technical in investment kind of finance, right? Just to basic understanding what all the accounts your husband has it, right? Where are they, where which accounts they're in, and is it a beneficiary? Many times, even the husband's account, sometimes, they forget to update the primary beneficiary, secondary beneficiary. Always, go back and check all your what all you own, right? Go back and update your beneficiary, check is it. Sometimes they update to, when the kid born, first kids is enrolled in the beneficiary, in second kid they forgot to update it, right? So I always tell families, keep these things, up to date, right? Review them periodically and sit down. It will not take, but I know we push back everything. This is not comes into our priority. We push back, think, okay, we'll do tomorrow, we'll do tomorrow. That's a wrong thing. I would say that even take a day off, sit down, and then review at least once in a year, right? Check your accounts, how it is doing, what, is there anything we could reposition these accounts, make a better investment, right? Grow. You work so hard for your money, right? Make your money
Mm.
grow. And how Sandhya said it, make money work for you, right? You work for the money all these years, make, and educate yourself and make money work for you, right? So, and also many times, the two things I always see the families, I always ask about, and have you done wills and trust? They say no. And then if I ask them why,
And
they
yeah,
said
that
no.
is something I wanted to bring up also, Jyoti. It is so, so much important. I cannot stress enough. Nobody, like in my own circle, very like out, like say if I have 10 people that I know, only one of them has made the will. And everybody knows
Yeah.
that it is very important to make the will, but they take their own time to do the will. They are not in a rush at all. So, can
Yes.
you emphasize on that how important it is to make a will in US
Yes.
especially?
That's
Otherwise, how
exactly.
your assets just are taken away.
Yes. See, by India, because when we are growing up in India, we never heard about doing my our parents are sitting and doing a trust. We didn't never heard of it. That's why we think, okay, we don't need it. Only we heard in movies and everywhere, people who have a big assets, they were doing a will when they were, in the bed, all those things. We heard those things. We think, okay, only rich people can do all these things, right? But by default, Indian law automatically kids inherited will go automatically to kids. But
Mm.
according to the US law, it will not go to the kids unless you name them as a beneficiary for your assets. We think we don't own any assets. We own a bank account. We have a retirement. We live in a house. You do own assets. There is even people who are in H1, they think, okay, I'm not going to stay here. I don't know how long I am going to be. Why should I do the plans? But do you have a plan that you know that you're going to stay here? If something happens to you when you are here, what will happen to your bank account? What will happen to your retirement account, right? So
Mm-hmm.
very inexpensive way to do the estate planning. Estate planning is not just the will. You need to understand difference of will, trust, power of attorney for a health, HIPAA release, medical directive. This whole five components comes under estate planning. You need to understand each one of them. People say, oh, I just did a will. I ask them, how old are your kids? And if kids are minor, you need to name the guardian for your children. If something happened to the both the parents, if what will happen, the court will come appoint somebody to choose the guardianship for them. Till they choose a guardianship, then they will be in the foster care. We don't want our kids to go and raise somebody, some religions, right? We want our kids to be
Yeah.
with our own loved ones, right?
Yeah, foster
So
care has its own stories. Yeah.
exactly. And also, that probate process, till evaluating, it takes a long time. We don't want to
Hmm.
have our kids to stay and somewhere till the probate process goes gonna happen. But usually it will take 6 to 9 months. Who is gonna take care of your kids that time? Where is the money is gonna come? All our if something happened to both the parents, all the accounts are frozen. Nobody cannot do anything. Then who is going to take care of our kids, right? So that's why, and
Hmm.
also house. When we have when the husband and wife own the house is only between husband and wife. Kids name not there in the house. What will happen if they did not do the planning? The house will go to the probate process. Then what the court is not going to do for a free. They will do the take the money. If the whole combined asset is $500,000, they're going to deduct 4% of $500,000, which is equivalent to 25K. You're going to lose as a legal and attorney fee, right? Unnecessary. if
Mm-hmm.
you if you plan if you plan it well, I could connect with you guys to attorneys. They're very very reasonable price. If a basic house, kids, and bank accounts, he will do for only less than $1,000, right? You could have a 30 minutes consultation, 30 minutes consultation with him. He will talk to you guys, he will tell you, and he will understand your situation. Any questions you can ask, he will guide you guys, and you can work with him through Zoom. He will do end to end all the process within that price. It's very very inexpensive. It's a peace of mind. It just things are taken care of. Our kids are, if something
Yeah.
happened to us, if we don't wake up tomorrow, our kids are in the right
Mm-hmm.
hands. You could name the guardianships who are here, who are in India. You could at least plan it yourself, right? And
Mm-hmm.
also, even wife, right? Always wife to get educated, where what are the accounts husband has it, where to pull up, what kind of life insurance, where is it lying, which company, what the policy number, and how the 401, which are the accounts where 401k is it, right? So you need to put everything in a one centralized place. We have a tool available. If you guys need some tool, let me know. I could share that tool and I put everything in a centralized soft copy, because you don't want to lying around these hard copies. If something happens to the house, burned somewhere, you lose everything, right? There is a centralized online
Yeah.
location. You could put everything saves, like a safe locker, a digital safe locker. You could use that, and you can store all your. Then you know that where to look for if something happens. At least our kids know that what all we have, it's in the one that place, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
why basic understanding of estate planning, highly highly recommend. When I meet a family, I tell them, you this is your first priority, you should get it done as soon as possible, then we can talk about next thing. So wills and
Mm-hmm.
trust, I really encourage. Even we think our surviving spouse will get everything 100%. That is not true unless you plan for it. Just get it done, and this is very inexpensive. Plus, you don't have to. It's a one time, right? Get it done, and then unless the things change, only you update it. Otherwise, whatever you've done, it's gonna stay unless you bar. You have another kid, or unless you, if you know how to manage the trust automatically, then it's easy to maintain that. So at least get the awareness. If you guys need education on this, talk to me. I have slides I could share with you guys, tell you the importance of it, tell you the difference of will, different of trust, and very very reasonable price. I can connect you to attorney, you can get it done with them. That's why I highly encourage you, start your financial foundation starting from wills and trust, and if you are not done it.
So, what is the difference between a will and a trust then?
Yeah, so trust, if we don't do the trust, see, will is just saying the judge, right? What, who owns your who gets your asset, who is a beneficiary for your assets, who is a guardian for your children, and who gets what when you pass away, who is a, right? Will is just a piece of paper. But if you name the, if you name the, let's say kids, if kids are minor, right? You can say that, okay, when I pass away, my wife is going to get everything. If wife is going to say, when wife passes away, husband is going to get everything. But if both passes away, if kids are minor, right? How they're going to
Mm-hmm.
manage the money? They are not going to access the bank account. They are not adult yet, right? So then, they
Mm-hmm.
need somebody to take that will document to the court, right? Court, and then they need to, court has to find somebody, personal representative, to appoint somebody to see who can manage this money, whole money, until the kids becoming adult. Because then somebody has to do that, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
why, if it, that's where important to do the trust. When you do the trust, they don't, it does not need to go to the court process, because in the trust you are mentioning that who is a personal representative for your asset. That means, see, when you have a form a trust, both husband and wife are the trustee for the whole trust, and whatever you own, right, you should be part of fund inside the trust, like your bank account, your house, your retirement account. Inside trust means trust owns those assets. And trustee is a whole, both husband and wife are the trustee for the whole trust. Then beneficiary for the trust is the kids, right? Then let's say if a trust, when the trustee is not there, then successor trustee. When you're forming a trust, they will ask you who want you to be the successor trustee. Then successor trustee can come into the picture when both trustees are not there. Then they can manage what is written in the trust agreement. They can, see that, they could only do the what is written in the agreement. They don't need to go to the probate process. They doesn't lose any money in the court process. The successor trustee will manage that. Many people ask me, I don't know anybody in USA. My brother, sister, my parents are in India. What should I do it? You could name a successor trustee, multiple people. We always say that to name somebody who are near to you as a temporary successor trustee, and when they're not there, then you can name multiple people, because even if they're in India, it takes time for them to come, getting the visa and all those things, right? That's why, you need to, when you form all these documents, you could tell the people whom you're naming as a successor trustee, give one copy to them, one copy yourself, one copy to the where it's easily accessible at home. So that's why very important to get the trust done, because your house you cannot put the to the under the will, right? In the will you can say, oh, these are the documents, but how to transfer the house to the trust name. So there is a process is involved. Trust will come and name, it comes as a, okay, married trust, Shirahatti married trust name generates. Then you need to make sure that the title of the house to transfer to the trust name, that means the house trust holds that house. That means the house will not go to the probate process. So then it avoids the legal court attorney fee, right? So that's why ideal to do whole estate planning. It's just 997. He's going to charge for a whole estate planning, unless you have if you have additional assets or anything. Basic kids, 401k accounts, bank account, house, it will only have that price. So always, and you do the revocable trust. That means, let's say you could add and modify anytime you want. We recommend it to do the revocable trust. Review this trust once in 5 years. That is of estate plan. That's the difference of wills and trust.
Okay. What about this Roth 40? What's the difference between 401 and Roth?
Okay, so that's a retirement planning side. Before going to the retirement planning, I wanted to emphasize another thing. Very important to understand long-term care. When I ask the people about, do you know what is long-term care? They think, oh, I have a disability income from work. Is it the same? Is it not the same? This is not the same. There is a long-term care government website. You guys can go understand what is long-term care, who pays for it, how do we plan for it, right? Long-term care is something when someone gets into situation, cannot do active daily living, cannot eat, dress up, right, cannot move from one place to daily living activities. If we cannot do those activities, 2 out of 6 activities, that's called the long term care. It is not covered by anybody. Health insurance don't give the long term care expenses. If somebody cannot do these activities of living, then they have to appoint somebody to get daily, right? They have to have somebody to appoint to do themselves, do the activities, right? But there is a cost involved, right? Cost involved. Let's say somebody is coming home and taking care of somebody, or in a nursing home, semi-nursing home. That cost is not covered by the health insurance. Even people say, I will get the Medicare, I'm contributing into the Medicare. I will, with long-term care should be covered in a Medicare. Medicare will not cover the long-term care expenses. They will cover only for 100 days. That too, they will cover only portion of it. So we need to protect ourselves if anything happens to us. right? How much we need to save, where to save, right? So this is also along with our retirement planning, understanding the long term care. If we need, how do we protect ourselves? What's the cost involved, right?
Mhm.
Very important. And there is a videos available. Longtermcare.gov will explain about it. What's the cost? Also, every state has a huge cost, per year. If they're in nursing home, it's like 85K per year. Think about, if we don't plan, if some in a life, in a whole our life, if we need this situation in 3 years or 2 years, whatever the year, right? How we are going to
Mm,
take out this expense? We need to use our retirement money, or we need to depend on the
mm.
kids. The spouse is going to take care of. You think kids are going to take care? They cannot take care of that long. They had to compromise their lifestyle, their loss of income, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
we don't want to burden to our children, because we know, that's the reason we need to plan along with our retirement saving, plan for a long term care expense you may intend to accrue. So where do you, and again, it's a tax free. If we never use it, if nobody needs in a whole life, that money what they put in, it's going to go to the beneficiary as a tax benefit anyway. So at least start saving for a long term care. Where to save? Buying with the life insurance at the rider as a long term care. You could use the money when you need it for the long term care from the life insurance itself. You could use when you're alive, not when you pass away. Life insurance is not just a death benefit. If it has a long term care rider, you could use that money if you ever need a long term care. So that
Oh,
is
that's
important.
interesting to know.
Exactly. So I feel, Indians lack in these two. 99% where I talk, they did not know about long term care and estate planning. So important to understand these two, and to protect ourselves, protect our assets also, right? If we need it,
Mhm,
otherwise we need to dip in our 401k money. We don't want to touch that money, right? Otherwise we're personal savings, otherwise house reverse mortgage, right?
mhm,
So that, along with our retirement planning, planning for a proper protection, we start with our education. Protect yourself for three things. If I die tomorrow, my family should have enough income. At least 10 years of my income should be there. We always say that protect yourself at 10 times of your income, right? Protection of
mhm,
death, protection of long term care, protection of if I live long, where I am saving for retirement. People think we're
mhm,
going to retire 60, 65. People are tend to live longer nowadays, right? 85, 90 is common nowadays. How we are going to
mhm.
save that 20, 25 years of income? We are going to bring that income for your life. Earlier, we used to have they used to have a pensions in this country. We never see the pensions. Once then the pension company stopped giving pensions because it was becoming expensive to them. That's why they
Yeah,
introduced
it's all
1990.
now
Yeah,
contracts and
9,
consultancy. Yeah.
yeah. So they introduced 401k 1994.
Mm.
Earlier that every company used to give a pension, and social security is good enough for them to live. There's a lifetime income. Those two are, they were enough.
So,
But right now,
Jyoti,
no.
I just don't want to rush you with everything today. I think we are 1 hour time up. So,
Yes.
anybody who is in US and want to know more about this, how can you get your finances settled and straightened up for your young growing kids for college funding, or for making the assets safe through your insurance policies or your long-term care policies, you can reach out to Jyoti Sirahatti, and she does a free one-on-one Zoom session. So that'll be the first, only for the first time, not every time, but for the new clients. For every new client, she does a free one-on-one Zoom session, and she prefers both the couple, whether they are married or partners, whoever it is, both the male and the female persons, to be knowing, at least be aware what are the possibilities that are available for you. And I think the best reachable number for her is 630-649-8190. You can message on that, or you can call her on 630-613-9278. So there's always client confidentiality, and she can at least, if you don't wish to enroll in any of those things, also no worries. Her motto is to make people, at least are all Indians who are hardworking and getting money in the legal way, to make good future of that money and for the kids. So that's her mission, to make sure that everybody understands the financial part of it here in US. Please do reach out to her, and we'll have another session with Jyoti. Um, I'm having hard Sirahati, Jyoti Sirahati, and we'll do the rest of the financial consultancy on the same show next Saturday at 8 p.m. My time. So that is Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. We'll cover the retirement income strategies, business strategies, and legacy strategies. And if you have any questions, also you can email to her. I think do you want to tell it out, Jyoti, the email ID
Yeah.
or
So best thing which is my message. You could message me on 630-649-8190. My email address is easy. My last name 16@gmail.com. Always I'm happy to educate and bring the awareness, and I could do host educational sessions also for the community. If you want me to educate on certain topics through Zoom, you can always connect with me, and I'm happy to bring awareness. Also, I'm conducting a investment planning on this Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central. If anybody interested to learn on basics on investment, I'm bringing up the one of the wealth advisor is going to talk about on investment side. If you guys are interested, want a Zoom session, so you could always reach out to me. I'm happy to share the Zoom details. And thank you so much for giving me opportunity. I'm so honored to be here and talk about it. I'm so passionate about this cause, bringing the education, personal finance education to everybody. Everybody should educate themselves. So with that, thank you,
yeah,
Sandhya, for giving the opportunity. Definitely, I'm happy to connect and help communities, help families.
yeah. Thank you, Jyoti. So I'll see you. We'll have the same session next Saturday at the same time.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. సో విన్నారు కదండి, దృష్టి మారితే సృష్టి మారుతుంది అని. సో ఫైనాన్స్ పరంగా కూడా మనం అసలు ఇవన్నీ కూడా H1 వీసా కాదు, ఏ టైప్ ఆఫ్ వీసా ఉన్నా కానీ డబ్బు అందరికీ విలువైందే. అట్లా పారేసుకోవడం ఎవరికీ ఇష్టం ఉండదు. అట్లానే మన పిల్లల మీద, మన వైఫ్ హస్బెండ్ మీద, వైఫ్ మీద ఎంత ట్రస్ట్ ఉన్నా కానీ ట్రాన్స్పరెన్సీ అంటారు కదా, క్లారిటీ అండ్ ట్రాన్స్పరెన్సీ, నో హైడ్ అండ్ సీక్. ఇది చాలా మంది హస్బెండ్స్ చూసాను, ఈ ఫైనాన్స్ ఆడవాళ్ళకి పెద్దగా అర్థం కాదు అనేసి, ఈవెన్ దో దే ఆర్ వర్కింగ్, ఈవెన్ దో దే ఆర్ మేకింగ్ మనీ, ఈవెన్ దో దే ఆర్ డీలింగ్ విత్ కార్పొరేట్ పీపుల్ ఇన్ ద కార్పొరేట్ సొసైటీ, still men think that women do not get finances and how to manage finances, even though if a woman is running her own boutique or her own saloons or whatever, they are doing their own business. Like Jyoti said, investment policies or investment strategies or investment opportunities that she wants to talk about. So even though that, so don't even if you think your partner is below your IQ level, please encourage them to pick up and be up to your level, at least in the financial strategy, so that in your presence or in your absence, your your love to them reflects in the form of the savings or the money that you have saved it for them, and they can, even after we are there or not there, they can be blessed that they were so lucky to have a father figure or a mother figure who thought so well of him and saved it for them. ఇది చెప్తుంటూ మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చేసి చెప్తున్నానండి, దృష్టి మారితే సృష్టి మారుతుంది. మనం ఒక ఇన్సూరెన్స్ పాలసీ తీసుకోగానే, ఒక లాంగ్ టర్మ్ కేర్ తీసుకోగానే, నేను ఇప్పుడే చేస్తున్నానా, నేను ఇప్పుడే బిల్లు ఎందుకు రాయాలి, నాకు నా నా డబ్బుల మీద నీకు కన్నున్నదా, నేను చావాలి ఎప్పుడు, నేను నా బిల్లు నీ చేతికి చిక్కాలి, ఇట్లా అని సొల్లు కబుర్లు మాట్లాడే హస్బెండ్స్ చాలా మంది ఉంటారు. అది జోక్ అయినా సరే మాట్లాడతారు, కానీ ద ఇంటెన్సిటీ, ద డెప్త్ అండ్ ద నాలెడ్జ్ అండ్ ద ఆతృత, యాంగ్జైటీ ఆఫ్ అ మదర్ ఫర్ హర్ చిల్డ్రన్, అవన్నీ కూడా మీరు ఆలోచించుకుంటే మీరు చేయడము, వాళ్ళకు వర్చువల్‌గా అంటే నాట్ వర్చువల్‌గా మీ ఆశీస్సులు వాళ్ళ మీద ఉన్నట్టు మీరు ఉన్నా లేకున్నా అని అట్లా అనుకోని అది చేయడం చాలా మంచిదండి. ఇన్‌స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ రిగ్రెటింగ్ చెయ్యి కాలినాక ఆకులు పట్టుకుని చేసేదేముంది అన్నట్టు. కాలినాక ఇంకేం చేస్తాం మనం అన్నట్టు. సో, దీపం ఉండంగానే ఇల్లు చక్కబెట్టుకోవాలనుకుంటే మళ్ళీ జ్యోతి గారితోటి నెక్స్ట్ సాటర్‌డే ఇదే టైంకి కలుద్దాము. థ్యాంక్ యూ జ్యోతి అండ్ థ్యాంక్ యూ తెలుగు NRI Radio and Sai for the support of audio support